This is my sister, Karina. So we are online now from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you guys for joining on a Sunday. I know now that everyone is getting back to normal. Maybe you could have gone out tonight, but you're still here because you want to learn and you want to continue to, make improvement every week. Because yes, now with Teranga Valley, we have at least one event per week, so it's going pretty well, and we are learning a lot. I'm so grateful to all of you guys, all the speakers, all the people who introduce us new events, so we can learn from each other. Really, thank you very much. And Teranga Valley is really all about that. So to help each other to grow, to not stay stuck in certain situations, to have some tools, ideas how we can improve and enjoying the path of entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial mindset, because entrepreneurship is not only about opening a company, it's also the spirit, and we really want to encourage people, motivate, and keep motivated to until success. So thank you so much. I won't talk more. I will let you jump in, Matan. And thank you so much. I'm actually very, very, very curious because I have tried so many years to hack my brain, but it's too too strong-minded sometimes. Like I can keep it for 2 weeks, and then it's just like falling down. So I'm very curious because I need to do something stronger. So thank you.
Cool.
I'll let you start.
Pleasure. Okay. First of all, like if for those of you, if you're able to open your camera, that would be much nicer. So then I can see your face and I know when I'm boring you and I have to switch, or when I'm actually maybe say something important and interesting, so I know I can keep up. If you're not opening your video, you've been warned. If I'm gibberish and blah, 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 it's your fault, not mine. Also, I hope my connection gonna be good. If not, Isabelle will warn me. And I'm gonna talk quite a lot, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. And then I'll send you the boring stuff through the chat, so you can open the chat. And if there will be like a little bit more scientific terms, not a lot, I'll try to keep it aside. So I'll send it in the chat. And if you have any question, either write it down, and then in the end, I'll try to give some more time for a question. Okay? But you can write it down anyway, and then I'll just move through them as we go along. So first of all, I'm grateful for all of you to join me today and spend your time to hear actually my thoughts. Who wants, and feel free to raise your hand if you open your video, who would like to be able, to perform better, to be able to, I don't know, maybe if you like running, to run faster or run for a longer duration, or to be able to change some of your habits, or be able to, I don't know, even have better sex, or to be able to read faster, or whatever you like to do, enhance your performance. If you want, say aye. But you're muted, so I cannot hear you, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, but I can see you. Nice. So basically, that's what I'm aiming for, to be able to achieve more, to be able to know ourselves better, and therefore be able to perform better in whatever we want. So when I'm saying biohacking, I'm talking more about like how we can play the cards that we've been dealt to. And my brother is a is a professional poker player. So sometimes I see him win tournament with the shittiest card ever. So just because we dealt some sort of like, gene or cards, it doesn't mean that that's determine who we are and how we're going to live in this world. And as human species, we are almost like we are constantly breaking our limits, right? Like if we look at the Olympics, So our record, we run faster, we're doing faster, like everything, like the record's going down, 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 while our endurance and be able to perform is going longer and longer and longer. So we're constantly breaking the limits. And we're discovering new ways to actually increase our performance and increase whatever we want to, both. Yeah, basically we will learn how to enhance our performance. A little bit about me. I'm hearing myself double as well. All right. I born and raised in Israel, and after the service in the army, like most of the Israelis, I went to travel around the world for 2 years, and then came back, study like Chinese medicine, Shiatsu, a lot of all kind of therapies, and did some internship in the hospitals in Israel, and then went back, not went back, but actually came to China and did internship in the local hospitals in Chengdu. So wait, yeah, so I learned all kind of things. Yael forced me to put my diplomas. So we can skip it now. How do I see biohacking? Basically everything that gives us better control or connection to part of our body and our mind that maybe usually we don't pay a lot of attention to. So everything that can boost our body capability or mental capability or expand our longevity, which is a topic that I kind of find of interesting. And like if I'm talking about the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, right? It was been known that it's a system that we cannot control. Okay, all the medical books say you cannot control your autonomic nervous system, but when you find out, actually we can affect it consciously, right? In many ways, we can control our parasympathetic and sympathetic system. We can control our body temperature through activation of brown adipose tissue, right? What we call like brown fat. We have a lot of tricks about the brain that allows us to perform better. I'll give you an example. One thing that I use myself, okay, to be able to do when I'm training, to do more reps, okay, to run longer. Before a decision is consciously being made, is already being made in our brain. And it problem. Can you still hear me? Yeah, because I'm seeing Yael. Okay, is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. I can hear you.
Thanks. So at the beginning, when I want to run, I'm telling my legs, okay, let's go, right? And we start running. After a while, the legs get a little bit tired, and I tell my brain, maybe we should stop for a while. What do you say? And my brain and me, I'm saying, no, we keep on running. So we keep on running as much as you can. And then at some point, start like a very tough inner dialogue, somewhere between my leg and my brain. My legs say, okay, enough is enough. This is time to stop, right? And at some point, my brain agree and I stop. And then what happened, I'm thinking myself, okay, I'm going to stop. But actually the conscious stop, the conscious thought, sorry, to stop happened only after I actually made the decision in my subconscious brain. Now, the interesting part, sorry about my English, by the way, the interesting part that if I get familiar with the feeling, okay, the subconscious feeling that I'm about to stop, and then I'm able to tell myself, okay, you're about to stop. I acknowledge that, but you're going to keep just 1 more minute more. And what happened is you find out that you can do much, much longer. So for example, the first time I used it at the running, I used to do like 3 rounds, and then I felt this feeling, and then I thought, okay, let's do just a little bit more, and I find myself doing like doubles. So I did like 6 rounds, and every time I had this feeling, I did it again. So, and if it's happened with things which are harder, Okay, for example, holding your breath for longer, which is also something that I like to do because I like free dive. So I'll do it. Okay, let's keep just a little bit, like 3 more seconds, and see what happens. And we are improving that way. So this is just one thing, very, very, very useful actually, that you can actually try and see how it goes for you. So this is like about a little bit biohacking, and also everything that potentially expand our longevity, health span, etc. So we can divide it into 3 layers, kind of like our technology, biohacking, ancient rediscovered wisdom, and what I like the most is a combination between these two. Technology can be like augmentation, right? Today we have all kind of neurochip that can help us fight Alzheimer or improve our memories or take control on part of our brain, right? We have bionic organs that actually can perform like stronger or connect directly to our nervous system. We have all kind of supplements and medicine, and we have machines or controls environmental equipment, right? If we're talking about cryogenic chamber or HBOT, which are, or even sauna. Okay, we're gonna mention them later. So physical and mental things that, like if we're looking about ancient wisdoms, people who did the yoga, or people who did like tumo meditation, like doing meditation in the cold without any clothes, only on your shirts, all kind of shaman breathings, okay, for alternate consciousness, and of course combination of those two. One of my favorite, which I think have a synergetic effect, is about controlled hyperventilation with hypoxia, with induced hypoxia, while you are in hyperbolic oxygen tank. Okay, but again, this is things that require way more research and to explore. And that's bring me to the next and very important things, which is disclaimer. Don't trust anything that I'm telling you. Okay, everything that I tell you might be bullshit, might be wrong, might be dangerous. Okay, so do your own research. If you want to do something, whatever it is, you have to understand the risk. Okay, because no matter how much we know, how much we discover about our body, we always have more and more questions. So it's very important, sorry, to understand this point, because if we take like any one authority as the final authority and we believe everything they say, we can find ourselves in a very bad situation, right? If I'm selling something for you, I will only going to show you the benefits on it, and I'm only going to show you the research that support it, right? And then you try it, and then shit happen, and you don't understand why. I can give you an example. There was a supplement still available, I guess, called like TA65, which is supposed to be very good for you, increase your longevity, your health span, protect you from cancer, which some research show it very effective, some less effective. But if you already have cancer, it actually can cause you a lot of damage and aggravate the situation, right? But you might not know it if you only look at the company or whatever. So do your own research. That's about the disclaimer. One of my favorite books, which called like What Doesn't Kill You, and I can send it in the group chat later if you remind me, talking about terms called hormesis. We grow up, like in evolutional point of view, in nature. We were exposed to the climate, to the environment, right? So our body naturally evolved to be able to deal with this situation, to adapt. It means that our body and our nervous system, it needs stimulation in order to thrive. And what happened today is that we kind of got like a very smart and become control our everything around us, right? So we live in a very narrow corridor, which is very comfort for our body, but we don't have all the stimuli that before, right? For example, we live in a very comfort zone regarding thermal. We are cold, okay, we put the sun, we put the heater on, we wear more clothes. We are warm to warm, okay, so we open the air condition. So our body doesn't get this stimulate and these changes that it used to get, right? And the same goes for what we eat. Okay, today we eat everything is available all the time, and not like in ancient time that maybe we had to eat in different season, different things, right? So we kind of disconnect ourselves from nature. So this stress that our body needs, we call like a hormesis. Let me share with you in the chat all the boring stuff. Give me a second. Then you can see what is the definition of hormesis. But basically, long things short, a little bit stress, okay, very good for us. It's a challenge for our body, challenge for our nervous system, and that can make us thrive. But I send it to you. Oh, sorry, everyone. Thank you. But if we find a sweet spot, okay, if we induce our body to stress, but not too much that will cause damage, this is where the miracles happen. Okay, this is where our body thrives, becomes stronger, our endurance go better, and everything, everything happened there. And switch next. Let's start with
Okay, good job.
Somebody have to be muted, sorry. There you go. So we'll start with kind of some of like methods or techniques, and we'll start with my favorite. The cold therapy, they are very, very hot topics. I don't know, like I guess that most of you heard about them, like cold shower, cold exposure. There are many, many research that shows various benefits for many aspects of our health, both mentally and physically, for making us resilient to the elements, boosting our immune system, strengthening our cardiovascular system, what else? Lifting our spirit, okay, feel like better mood, being actually control our ANS, like I mentioned before about the bad tissues, and some say that it's even enough for our longevity to go with the cold, just with a little bit less layer on us, expose ourselves to this area. So what do we have in the cold? We have the main two things. We have like cryo chambers that you guys in Shanghai are lucky because you have there. And we have things like Wim Hof methods, which I kind of an advocate, but I'm a practitioner. So cryo chamber, which you can see a little bit here, there are different kind of cryo chamber, but the idea is rather simple. You're going inside a chamber when they cool the air down to about like minus 160 degrees Celsius or even more. Yep, yeah, I can see your faces. Yeah, and you spend there like between like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, up to you. Some people can do less, some people can do more. And if you do it for 10 days in a row, then that's some of the research showed that you can start having all this benefit. Now, minus 160 sounds very cold, but for my opinion, and many others, and you can check me out, the other methods of doing cold showers is much harder. Because in the cryo chamber, the air is very dry. But once you take the cold shower, the water um, they remove the heat, okay, much faster. So you're gonna feel it, it's much harder. And again, sorry, really sorry about that. Let's go quickly. Another thing that you guys from Shanghai are very lucky for is that you also have a flotation tank or sensory deprivation tank. Like it's a kind of a pod filled with water in your body temperature and with Epsom salt. And while you close the pod, so you cannot hear anything and you cannot see anything. So it's kind of feeling like you're in space. You guys can still hear me, hopefully? Just let me know in the chat. Yeah? Okay, because I cannot really see you guys. Great. So this experience, like being in a flotation tank, by the way, anyone from you ever been in a flotation tank? Because you do have it in Shanghai. So you can write down in the chest, yes or no. And you can see that the experience can go anywhere from like a deep relaxation or stress relief on to actually kind of a mystical psychedelic experience, right? It takes time to absorb it, and especially if you want to have like a greater experience, you'll have to practice some sort of like a shaman breathing or hypoxia or whatever. We can talk about it later. And some studies, clinical studies, show that you can also absorb magnesium from the Epsom salt itself through the skin. But again, that's something else and need more research. So this is about flotation tanks. Let's keep it up as long as the connection is working. And hopefully the screen will work. And go to the next one. Just keep it up. What else? The next one is actually one of my favorite, is HBOT. HBOT stands for hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Just let me know once in a while if you hear me or not, because I have no indication if I'm talking to myself or to you. Okay, great. And I'm sorry you cannot see the picture, but you can search later. So hyperbaric oxygenation tank is work by delivering oxygen to a patient while you're under like more than like the normal atmospheric pressure. Okay, and it's in an enclosed chamber. So when the pressure becomes greater than normal, the body is able to incorporate more oxygen into the blood cell, into the blood plasma, into the cerebral spinal fluid and other body fluid. So actually we mean like we get like a boost of oxygen to our brain, right? And the oxygen is part of the fuel that our brain needs. So we can perform better and heal better, okay? And especially it's been shown, and Israel is one of the leading in the world about the research about HBOT, is that if you induce hypoxia with it, so it can benefit you in so many different ways. Okay, you can fight against reverse actually degenerative disease, which is something that we said is impossible. I have a friend which is a nurse in one of the HBOT banks in Israel, and she used to have reading glasses, just normal glasses. And just by working there, it means that she was exposed into the hyperbaric chambers a lot. She find out that she doesn't need her glasses anymore, okay? So while traditionally we use HBOT to treat wounds that come from diabetics or decompression disease for diver, actually the idea of what you can do with that, and especially if you combine like breathing, is absolutely outstanding. And I truly believe that this is part of the future medical, breakthrough, hopefully. Here, I think now you can take a look at it, right? Hopefully. So this is like a normal one, but this is one you can buy home if you have enough money. And I have some friends actually in Chengdu that have it, so I'm very happy because I can play around with and risk my own life, be a pioneer.
Okay.
So good news for everybody which is younger than me, which is not very hard, I guess, at that point, is that you have a very good chance, I believe, to reach the age of 150 or even 200 and even more. Because a lot of the research that going now into longevity shows that we kind of at the age of a revolution that never been seen before. And you know, we are already able, like I mentioned before, to treat some, to actually change part of our brain with chips to treat Alzheimer and other like cognitive diseases. And we are very close to cracking aging and longevity. And so, you know, it's kind of very excited. Really, yes, you should, guys, you should start learning about long-term investment and stuff, yes, because it might be the future. And while a lot of this technology is out of reach for the most of us here, unless you're super rich or have connection with kind of like a laboratory, there are a few supplements which look very, very promising regarding longevity. And my three favorite, and I think that's definitely worth looking for, are NMN, which stands for nicotine mononucleotide, metformin, which is diabetic medicine, okay, that controls sugar, but actually can do way more than that, and resveratrol. And most likely, if you combine them together, then you can have really, really good benefits, okay? So NMN, it's a molecule that become another molecule in our body that doing a lot, like if we don't have this molecule in our body, we will die in like 10 seconds, okay? So we can increase its amount in our body. And it's you can search NMN and rats, you will see what it does to rats. It can expand their life by 50% or even more, and many other cool stuff. Metformin is usually prescribed in medicine for diabetic, but the good news in China is OTC. Yeah, I will send later. On China is OTC, and it's a very cheap, actually, medicine. It's just like, you know, less than 10 kwai or like 30 kwai. So it's very cheap and you can actually have it by yourself. But again, study, especially if you guys training a lot, because it might interfere a little bit, okay? And resveratrol is kind of the fuel that put it all together. So again, I can also send you guys a book, which called like, it's one of my favorite scientists, which is David Sinclair, and his book called like Lifespan, Why do we age and why we don't have to. So we can see that later. And I think, Yael, you can go for the next one. Breathing, you know, something that we've been doing since the moment we went out of our womb. We do it so naturally, but most of us actually doesn't pay enough attention like we should do. We do it like so much unconsciously that we're missing so many benefits. Seriously, guys. We have even different type of breathing, right? We have like if we go like very medical kind of like, you cannot see my hands doing like, how do you call it? Never mind. Diaphragmatic, like from our stomach, thoracic, clavicular breathing when we breathe very shallow, paradoxical, or even like a complete full breathing, right? But when we start playing with our breathing, that's where the good stuff starting to happen. If we look at the Navy SEALs and other like trainings in the Army, we can see they use, for example, what they call box breathing to improve our mental and our focus. So they're doing like the 4-4-4-4. Inhale for a second, hold for a second, exhale for a second, and hold for a second, and repeatedly, right? And if we're talking about the Wim Hof method, what I mentioned before, which is a kind of like a controlled hyperventilation, combining with retention. It means that we are breathing in a certain way, then we exhale, and then we hold our breathing after we exhale for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Each one is a little bit different. And that also does great things into your body. A lot of these techniques, actually, you can find them or come or similar for breathing from a yoga, right? We have like breathing for increase our focus and, you know, many ways. If you're into yoga, definitely check it out. If we're going into free dive, so if you want to induce more red blood cells, so they use the 5-8 or the 5-10 principle. So we are breathing like for 4 seconds, inhaling 4 seconds, and then making some pressure out like for double the time, right? Or we can increase our body tolerance for lack of oxygen, or increase our body tolerance to accumulation of CO2, right? And by that, we're able to hold our breath much longer. And how much do you guys think that you can hold your breath? people saying they want to be stronger, and I can relate in that later in the Q&A. But most people can hold their breath for how long? 1 minute, 2 minutes? What do you think the world record is? You can write down in the chat because I can actually see it. So take a minute, write down how much you think you can hold your breath, and what do you think how long is actually possible to hold your breath. Give you a moment to write it down in the chat. And then I'm going to tell you 7 minutes, 17 minutes is the world record. So I can do like 1.5. So let me tell you something, guys. First of all, you, and I mean you, like each and every one of you, I can teach you in a very, very short time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, that you can hold your breath after exhalation for at least 2 minutes. Some of you, like Yael, which grew up in the sea, should probably be able to do 4 minutes, right? The world record without oxygenation assistant, it means like they don't breathe oxygen before the competition, it's about like 11. And the actual world record for if you're allowed to breathe oxygen before is being like the one that I know is being said by Alex Segura in 28 February 2016. I don't think it's been broken since. And it's 24 minutes, 3 seconds, and 45 milliseconds. Yes, I can see your faces going there, right? So actually, we are capable for way, way more than what we think. And we have other type of breathing. We have Dr. Buteyko and Oxygen Advantage. And even we have erotic erotic asphyxiation. Sorry, it's where you strangling yourself doing sex, so you can have like a better orgasm and stuff. And we have breathing different gases, right, or different air compounds, because we wanna die for longer duration. Right, so N2O and nitrous oxide, and laughing gas to get us high, or 100% oxygen under different pressure, like H-boat, diving competition. So that's about it. Let's move on to the next one, and hope they're not gonna cut me because for saying that, but psychedelic. And I'm personally not into psychedelics. The only way I'm going into psychedelic experience is only by breathing, which breathing can induce that. But if you're looking at a psychedelic, you can actually divide them into 3 main categories. And I'll send you in the chat if you want to learn a little bit more. I'll send you some link here in the chat so you can see. I'll send to everybody. Yeah, there you go. So we can divide them into those that like, you can see the first one, like serotonergic, which is like all the one that LSD, DMT, mescaline, all of these that actually change our sensory perception and including visual and audible hallucination, right? And then we have the other one, entheogens, which the feeling more of like euphoria, love, we are all connected, increase attentiveness and awareness, but they have kind of relatively mildest change to our perceptions. And we have the disassociative, like I think like the bofu, if you know the frog, it's belong to this one. This is where we feel disconnected from the world, our surrounding, our whole body, we like cease to exist, right? So we have many different types. And what's beautiful about it that a lot of these DMT experiences, if you know how to control your breathing and you practice kind of like I forgot to mention it when we spoke about breathing, holotropic or shamanic breathing, so you can induce this mystical experience just by breathing. Okay, we can go more of that of the Q&A if you guys like. What about Mother Nature? Maybe you can go forward to the next one. Yael, please. We evolved in nature, right? And we are part of nature. As simple as that. We should stop, alienate us from nature. We should go back to nature where the good things happen, right? Where we originally belong to. In even a short time, there's a lot of studies and research that show that even a short time in nature can have tremendous amount of positive effect on our health, okay? And doing simple things like grounding, okay? Going barefoot in nature, or meditate outdoor, or appreciate a flower, All of these can not only reduce stress, they can reduce inflammation, they can give us like a boost of love, and so much more. And so that's about it for now. Let's go to the next one, and we'll go for a quick promotion and give a quick gift for me to you guys if you want to achieve more and do more. So I'm going to open up like three kind of challenges. I'm going to open a one group for challenge, and every week or so I'm going to introduce three different challenges so you guys can choose from. Okay, so the first one, go next. Bing. So nice. I don't have to do anything. I just like next, and it's coming. So we're gonna do the first week. We're gonna do three challenges. They're gonna be about intermittent fasting, which again have tremendous amount of benefit. You can see in the next slide. We're gonna do cold showers for the brave ones, and we're gonna do some simple meditation. And you can join the group, and which is supposed to have a QR, but I think for some reason I don't see it, so I can send you later in the big group of Teranga. Hopefully everybody is there. And if you want to actually, I'm going to show you the challenges later. So you can guys also add me personally, and after I'm in the group, and I can just add you up. Or go next, please. If you want to take another step forward improving your life, I'm also been working about like, maybe you can, Yael, show them the solution program. I've been working very hard recently on a 5-week introductory program, which is part of a longer 12 weeks program that are really going into details, which, in this 1 hour, or actually way more that we had now, that we cannot go into too much detail about how to hack your brain, how to expand our identity, learn about the human needs psychology, what really drive us, okay, the driving forces behind our behavior, and that will lead us to limiting belief, how we actually can do more just by changing our belief, and how we can actually get a more discipline and break these bad habits into a positive ones. So again, you guys are more than welcome to add me, and I will give you more details about this program. And as a Teranga members, you also have a discount, like a 50 yuan less, and I will give you a lot of cool things. So if you want to join the challenges that I mentioned also, these are all free. We have like cold showers, which is, maybe I will send these later because I really took a lot of your time. So I will send these slides later, and you can see a little bit more about the challenges and decide if you want to join or not. Okay, so let's open up for Q&A. How about that?
I think that getting stronger might have been mine. I don't know if anybody else has also asked.
Hi, Maria.
Hi. Sorry I was late and I had a few things to take care of. So, but I've been. Hi, Matan. Yeah, the getting stronger was mine, and I'm happy to see that like intermittent fasting made the cut, because that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years, and I definitely feel so much better. I think there's a lot of weirdness about that because people think that you're starving yourself to death, which is definitely not the case. But I heard about cold showers. I'm not brave enough to do that yet, I guess.
Go for it.
I don't know. I really don't like the cold. So it's just, I know it's a mental thing, but I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for like, for someone who really doesn't like cold showers? I take hot showers also in summer. So any suggestions?
You're from Germany, right? And Germany does have snow,
I'm
right?
Italian.
Ah, Italian. Sorry. Do you have snow?
That's Janine's German.
Sometimes? Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry, say that again?
I haven't seen, well, do you have like a cold period in Italy?
I mean, yeah, I mean, right now I'm in Milan. I usually live in Shanghai, but basically the weather is the same. So it like gets to like 1-2 degrees in the winter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I haven't seen or touched snow until I was in my mid-20s.
Okay.
Okay, I come from Israel. Like, I hated the cold, right? I really, put me in the desert, no problem, I thrive. And you put me in the Gulf, God, no, please take me out of here, right? But today I swim like in ice lake, in ice-covered lakes. I'm going to like freezing pools. I'm flying a lot to like Harbin in north of China. So like, I'm going in minus 20 degrees only with my shirts and practice outside or doing meditation outside. being stronger is being both mentally and both physically, right? So we have to take a baby step. We have to set our goal or set our mindset into what we want to achieve. And then we have to learn more about it. We have to engage it. We have to have friends or peer group that doing the same thing that we want to do. We have to put ourselves in a widget group that have people who actually do it, right? Or you can join our challenge group that you'll have people such as yourself that find it very, very hard to do, but they're willing to try to do and slowly, slowly progress. And especially if you combine the right breathing, which I'm going to teach in the group, so this breathing already mentally prepare you to be able to do it. And I'm gonna also talk about the inner dialogue that we have. And I don't know if you've been in the beginning where I spoke about how to hack your brain when you're about to stop doing something. If you're able to recognize that you're about to stop doing something, then you tell yourself, okay, let's go just 3 more seconds if it's a cold shower, or let's go just 1 more minute if it's running. You'll see that your body changes and your body listen to what you discuss. I don't want to repeat it because I already said it before.
No, that's okay. No, thank you. That's very helpful.
And being able to do that, it's mean that whatever you're training, okay, you're doing plank and you know you're about to quit. Okay, so you tell us, okay, I know I'm about to quit. I'm going to do it just a little bit more, and then you start seeing improvement and improvement and improvement. So that's about being stronger. And doing that, or doing cold shower, you gaining more self-discipline. You have more self-discipline, you can train more. You can train other ways, right? So it's like a nourish cycles that one aspect of your life that you improve in actually make all other aspects of your life improving as well. 3 seconds, jump in, we'll talk about it. Right. Any other question, guys, ladies, gentlemen?
So Karina has a question.
So I don't know if you heard about lucid dreams, but I've read.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, literally, when you lucid dream, I've already had lucid dream before. It's like they say you hack your brain literally, because your body is sleeping, but you're using your brain.
Totally. I actually had a very, very nice webinar like about lucid dreaming 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I forgot it. Definitely, it's also hacking your brain, right? And I can share you a lot of resources about lucid dreaming, and I also like a fan of lucid dreaming. And again, we cannot teach you now or learn how to do it, but I can share with you some very cool books about it. And if you're interested about lucid dreaming or OBE, out of body experience, there's also very good things in YouTube that I can share with you. And yeah, you're becoming aware that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, right? And the things that you can do with that are actually limitless, because you can go for the normal stuff, like usually people like either flying or having their sex desire in that way. And then, or people can actually take it further and they can start learning new stuff. They can meditate inside lucid dreaming, right? They learn how to stay in lucid dreaming like longer and longer, right? So they can do more, and they can ask themselves a lot of question and get solution. I've heard a lot about people that, like for example, engineers that had some problem that they had to find a solution. They didn't know how to find a solution, so they went lucid, asked themselves, and suddenly, the brain revealed it. Why? Because when you're lucid dreaming, you're actually making a better connection with the subconscious. And our subconscious is so much stronger than our conscious mind, right? So we're tapped into way greater resource. And that's the beautiful, that how we can actually utilize lucid dreaming to get better performance in our life. And I see there's more in the chat.
Yes, someone.
Let's see.
Yeah, someone was asking how to stick healthy habits. But I also remember something, because I never thought about the lucid dreams. But I remember when I was young, when I was in a nightmare. Sometimes I realized it's just a dream, and what I was doing is I just changed the end. So that's how I was using it, but I didn't know that there was a power in that actually you could do something in your brain at that moment. So I think it's interesting, because most of us maybe sometimes we realize we are in dream, and then we can use this time actually to bring something out of this. I like it.
That's very, very good point. Thank you for raising it up because as kids, many times we have actually lucid dreaming, and what you said is it's very true. We can actually use lucid dreaming as a therapy. We can go back again. It will need a lot of like preparation and be good in lucid dreaming. But once we achieve this, we can actually go and change hidden traumas that we have in our life. We can use it for therapeutic effects, right? So definitely, definitely, definitely. I see someone send me a message privately. He said, like, you spoke about your cousin. Actually, it's my brother. He is able to win poker game with a weird card. So can you give a suggestion on how to hack one's brain for higher academic performance? Well, first of all, yeah, you can also look at the NLPs and stuff like that in order to increase your performance, right? But do you know Jim Quick? He's talking a lot about memory, okay, and how memory work. And if you look at ancient time, they had a lot of memory techniques in Rome, in Greek, because they had to, to speak to the crowd, and they didn't have PPTs, and they had to remember a lot of things, right? So you can look up like Jim Quick. He have a lot of ideas how to increase your memory output. There's many ways to do that. And also about quantum reading. Unfortunately, I really wanted to start something like that in China, but someone did it before me, and they did it so bad that it became a laughing joke. I don't know if you guys remember, there was like maybe half a year ago, there was a very like emoticons, or you can see people like reading books with their eyes closed, or they put something. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, but there was an institute. They open up like a quantum reading, and the idea in quantum reading is that you can read very fast but still remember everything. And this is something that I did myself. I can do it very good in Hebrew. I can do it not bad at all in English. I cannot do it at all in Chinese, actually, but Chinese, I think it's a really good language to do quantum reading. And the idea is that you learn to use your peripheral vision, and you learn to use your the way that the brain actually get information, okay, much better. Because what happens is we always get a lot of information, but all of this information go to our subconscious and go to our filters that we have, right? And then in the end, we have a very short and a narrative that we tell ourselves about what we see outside. But if we learn how to use this technique, and it's not a very big deal, actually, you can improve your reading by 20 to 30% faster, just in like about like maybe 1 to 2 hours. So the more you do it, the better you will become. So this is two ways that you can actually perform better academics. So search for quantum reading and search for memory techniques. And I can send you later in the group better. What else? You have a better way to focus, concentration, even when the body is saying no. There are times when the body is off, regardless how much mind want to work, and the body is shut off. In med school, so I have to study always, but sometimes I'm just off. I tell myself, go body, but there is not enough. Sorry, got noisy. Yeah, it's okay. Well, I'm also a big believer in sleep, okay? And sleep is such an important thing that a lot of people, this is not about hacking. This is about arranging yourself and making yourself a priority, okay? And many people put their nutrition as a priority, at least for a while. They doing some sort of a diet. Or a lot of people put their exercise as a priority, but not many people take the same amount of effort to look and study into sleep as much as they do in the other side. And from my opinion, sleep is more important than both exercise and eating combined. And if you want to be able to focus more and to be productive for longer, the best thing is before you going into hacking, manage your sleep. Learn what is your chronotype. Learn how caffeine and caffeine affect you if you're drinking a lot of tea or coffee. Okay. Learn how the lights affect you. Learn how your daily habits affect your sleep. Okay. Learn these stuff, and I promise you will be able to concentrate and be way more productive. And only then we can go and discuss about, like, hacking technique and make more concentration. But again, self-discipline is part of it. Cold shower, for me and for many other people, they give you clarity. Not only they wake you up if you're tired, but they also like lift this foggy that you have sometime around your brain. Okay, and again, even without explaining the scientific mechanism, which is by happen, just try it and see what happened, and you'll take me for it. Not at the beginning, you're gonna curse me and hate me at the beginning, but if you stick to it, then you're gonna thank me. Anything else, guys? Any other questions?
We had a question about how to hack the brain to make the habit stick.
Oh, well, again, that's something that I talk a lot about in my program, because it's not something that I can answer very quickly. But let's look just from the brain, okay? Our brain is the big consumption, the biggest consumer of energy, right? Of nutrient, of oxygen, and our brain have to perform so many different tasks. All the motoric tasks, all the cognitive tasks is all about the brain, right? So naturally, we have limited resource in the amount of how much oxygen we can deliver, or how much resource we actually put in our body. So the brain try to keep things simple. He try to preserve energy as much as we can, and he does that by simplify things on one hand, by going into routine on the other hand, and by get rid of what he think we doesn't use anymore or we doesn't need anymore, right? So if we want to change habit, I will look at that as a terms of energy consumption, okay? Our brain don't want to do something new, because once a brain have something in a routine, okay, is already used to it. And a lot of our routines are things that doesn't require a lot of energy to begin with, okay? But if we are insisting our brain, and we know it's going to be hard because we know our brain going to resist it, but to stick into it and we build new routines, and then our brain start to navigate more of his energy into this direction, and it made this the new routine. And by making it new routine, you have to expend less energy on this new routine, and then we can, make it last longer. Now, there's so many books about like habits, and you can search about like what is, if you want to change habit, you need to understand what is the cues, what is the triggers that trigger these certain routines, and you have to learn about what is the rewards. Okay, you need to learn about how dopamine affects your brain, and why when you find something different that will give you the same amount of rush of dopamine, you'll be able to, change this habit better. And I also like to talk a lot about Tony Robbins and the human needs psychology, because when we want to do something new, it need to answer some of our basic needs. If we try to establish a new behavior that doesn't meet the needs that I need, mostly unconsciously, in the same quality, it's going to be much harder for me to induce this new behavior. Okay, I'll give you an example maybe to make it clearer. Let's take procrastination, right? People will procrastinate from different reasons. All of them unconsciously will answer some of your basic human needs. Okay, so if I'm procrastinating because, for example, this task doesn't answer my needs for connection with other people or feel loved by other people, and I try to go against it, it's going to be very, very hard for me. But if I can change this task in a way that will connect me with other people, maybe do it as a group, maybe have more accountability partners, find a way that I can get this connection with other people, suddenly it's going to be way easier to engage in this task. Okay, do I make myself clear, or it's still gibberish?
Yes, no, thank you.
Okay, because I'm really trying to sum up in a few sentences something that I talk for a week about,
That was well done. And yeah, it made me also think about the thoughts that we have. I think it also can be a tool for us to hack the brain, because as you say, fake it until you make it. Do you believe in this? What do you think about
No. Personally, I hate fake it until you make it. And I tell you now, I tell you why. Because I don't think you can actually fake something. Okay? If you're able to do something which you call fake, it's capable. You already you're already doing that. It's part of you. The only thing that is not developed enough. Because saying fake it for me sounds like kind of a hypocritic, like, to be hypocrite. But I can do this. It means I'm capable to do it. I'm just not capable to do it good enough now because I haven't practiced it enough time. That's it. I'm able to smile. I'm not faking it. I'm not very good at it, and you cannot see my teeth and everything, because it's hard for me to smile and my connection is bad, so you cannot actually see me trying and being very ridiculous. But again, I can make it. It's not that I fake it. I just need more practice. And for me, this is a kind of like a mindset, because everything that you want to do, you are capable to do, unless, like you said, you're telling yourself in your thoughts that it's too hard. I am not capable of doing that. So understanding our thought patterns, how do we think, and understanding why do we think in a certain ways, what are the limited beliefs that behind it, will definitely help us to break through and get way, way better performance in any aspects of our lives. Is that answering your question?
Yes.
I think I'm cut off.
I think it's practice until you make it is better.
Yeah. Someone said, like, I ever sleep like 7-8 hours, used to drink coffee, but stopped because I felt I was taking too much of it. I do take cold showers, work out constantly. It's really helping me on my well-being. But when it's come to study, I can go for a while and just lose it. I don't know if being overwhelmed, but I really, really want to push the extra mile, especially in my studies. Again, studies, think about it, that it consumes so much energy in our brain, right? When you study, when you learn, when you have to focus, this is a tremendous amount of energy that's being spent. And if we want to perform better, so we really need to take all aspects under consideration. The fact that you sleep 7 or 8 hours doesn't mean anything for me, because it's about the quality of the sleep that you have, right? And if you want to improve your memory, running actually is being proven, okay, by different studies, that he can increase your memories, right? And if you want to stay focused, so your nutrition gonna play out as well. Okay, what do you eat? How do you eat it? When do you eat it? So it's, it's kind of complicated, and I'll be happy to go with you into details later if you want, and we'll see if we can figure out something more sustainable for you. But yeah, it's hard. Study is definitely hard.
Thank you so much, Matan. I think I've been around the questions. If someone has, Simon Chen says, okay.
We can talk later about issue. I have a whole system about increasing it's not something that you can answer right away. And Simon, you are welcome to educate me yourself. I'm always about learning new stuff, and if you can add something for me, do it indeed.
Thank you so much. I think we will wrap up from now. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Matan. And I'm also very curious about what you said about living until 200 years. We didn't talk about, but I'm very interested if you could share some information about that, like the molecules and stuff like this. It's really interesting. It's like double your lifetime expectancy. So let us know more about that. Very curious. Later, maybe in the group.
Sure, no problem. I'll share in the group a lot of the information and some books that I have, and you guys are welcome to add me, and yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Yael, for helping with
Pleasure.
this chat, and thank you all of you for asking questions. Thank you, Maria, for being here as well. Really appreciate everyone taking time on Sunday to learn more about themselves and how to improve our capacity of doing more things and more meaningful things, not just do something for the sake of getting a new habit. We also need to think about what's the meaning of what we're doing to not really procrastinate. So that's my take for today. Thank you, Matan. You have a last word to say before the end?
I just want to say thank you for everybody, and especially for your patience with my bad connection and with my blah blahing all the time. So yeah, really grateful and hope to see you soon and talk with you more in the group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isabelle. Thank you, Matan. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely evening too. Enjoy your Sunday.
Thank you.